Hi everybody, and welcome back to SCZ Live this afternoon. I'm here with my friend Ann, who's a senior keeper of tropics birds, but it's not just the tropics that they care for. They also care for the birds in North America, in the North American prairie, obviously in North America. But we have a migratory bird exhibit, and she's going to talk a little bit about migratory birds. But before we get started, I'm going to get the vocab out of the way. And migratory is a term that just means moves from place to place in order to meet the needs of survival. So the animal can find food, water, shelter, space, or a mate. Lots of animals migrate, but tomorrow is Migratory Bird Day, which is what prompted this post. So I'm going to turn it over to Ann, and she's going to talk to you for a few minutes about some migratory birds that we have here at the zoo.
Thanks, Kara.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so as Kara said, tomorrow is World Migratory Bird Day. So we wanted to just chat with you guys a little bit today about what that means, because you're going to be seeing some social media posts from the zoo tomorrow telling you all about migratory birds and how you can help them out. So we're here today at our waterfowl exhibit. You're getting a good look at one of our male hooded mergansers right there. He's not shy at all and likes to sleep right up here at the front of the exhibit, so you guys can get a good look at him when you're here. But Migratory Bird Day is all about celebrating the birds in North America and South America that migrate every year in order to, as Kara said, find resources, mates, habitats, etc. In the spring, we celebrate it in North America, and then in the fall, it's celebrated in South America. You might not think about it, because most people, when they think of migratory birds, either think of waterfowl or maybe the songbirds that you see in your backyard. But of the more than 650 bird species that live in North America, over half of those are considered migratory birds. Yeah, and right now you're getting another good look at a female cinnamon teal and her nest right there. She's showing you one of her eggs.
And we've talked about how not all birds build those massive or even intricate nests. Some birds use scrapes, some birds just lay an egg.
Yeah, you think of a typical bird nest as like maybe in a nest box, like a bluebird house, or a nest cup, like a
robin's nest.
But there's lots of different strategies, just like there's lots of different birds out there. So one of the things that you guys can do to help out migratory birds is to increase the variety of habitat that you have in your yard. If you enjoy seeing birds in your yard, if you enjoy putting out bird feeders, that's fantastic, but it's also important to think about the summer months when you're planning your backyard habitat. And planting native plants is one of the best ways that you can increase the wildlife in your backyard. That's going to provide food for all sorts of things, including birds. They might not be there to eat your plants, but they might be there to eat the insects that your plants attract.
And those native plants require, after they're established, they require less care and less water, and they provide cover for those animals too.
Yeah, they are already adapted to our climate. And there's lots of great resources out there for you to learn more about native plants, including the Sedgwick County Extension Center, which is just down the road from us.
What do these birds like to eat and drink?
So this exhibit is entirely waterfowl. So we feed them a waterfowl pellet that's specially designed to meet their nutritional needs here at the zoo. But most waterfowl are eating different sorts of plant matter. So to replicate that, we also will feed them different greens. Today they're getting some romaine lettuce, some kale, and some fresh spinach.
Everything but the kale sounds delicious to me.
Yeah, which if you guys love waterfowl and you love going to the park to feed ducks, I know a lot of people like doing that. It's actually better to feed them chopped up lettuce or some like chopped up grapes or things like that than it is bread or corn or things like that.
I could be wrong, but doesn't bread lead to angel wing in those
Yeah.
wild ducks? And angel wing, you'll see this a lot, like at Sedgwick County Park. It's a deformity of the wing feathers where they look like angel wings. I mean, that's the best way to explain it. And that is because of a diet deficiency.
Yeah, it's an imbalance in their diet caused by too much processed carbs, which I think we can all admit maybe we have a problem with too much processed carbs.
I definitely do. I feel
Yeah.
the pain. I do love my pasta.
So another thing that you guys can do to help out the migratory birds that are moving through this area right now is to reduce light pollution at your home and also at your place of business. A lot of birds migrate at night, and so they can be confused by lights in parking lots or yards, or if you have your lights on in your house but you have your blinds open, they can be confused by that. So it's really easy. Just turn those lights off during migration times or close your blinds. Just think about what's going on outside even when you're not.
Now, and it's important to illuminate your door for safety, but
Right.
you don't need to light up your whole backyard.
Exactly. And a light on a covered porch, probably not going to be seen by a bird flying way up in the sky. Just think of lights that, like, if you have a light shining up a tree trunk or something like that, maybe it doesn't need to be on all night.
All night, yeah. And then it's important to note that migratory birds are protected by the Migratory Bird Act.
Right.
And so they are afforded some protections that help them sustain their populations and actually have increasing populations, because we've had problems in the past with migratory birds being overhunted or harassed or just eradicated.
Right.
Because we didn't understand the importance of these birds.
Yeah. And one of the most well-known migratory birds and one of the best conservation success stories here in North America actually belongs to our national bird, the bald eagle. The bald eagle was officially delisted from the Endangered Species Act in 2007. A lot of people don't realize that. However, as our national bird, they are still federally protected under the Bald Eagle Protection Act.
I'm an old lady. So when I was a little kid, there were no wild bald eagles in Kansas. We did not see them. So I still am over the moon every time I see a bald eagle. It's a big deal to me, and I know it's a big deal to a lot of people. And there are still things that we can do to afford them some protection to make sure that we don't backtrack.
Right.
Things like pesticide use needs to be monitored, because there's something called biomagnification. And that's what led to one of the problems for them in the first place. Is we use those pesticides and it kills the bugs. Those bugs fall in the water, they get eaten by fish. The fish eat more than one bug, so they get more than one bug's worth of poison, and it goes up the food chain and causes lots and lots of problems.
Yeah, and even though they are not endangered in the United States anymore, they do face a lot of threats still, just like pesticide usage and then accidental roadkill or road strikes. We were talking earlier before we joined you guys that bald eagles are actually really efficient scavengers. They are capable of hunting their own meal, but they like to just, go up to the buffet and get some takeout if it's available. So when you're driving down the road, if you see something on the side of the road, slow down, because it might actually be a bald eagle or a turkey vulture or something like that. We have 2 bald eagles here.
So, and is it a male and a female?
It is a male and a female. You're looking at our female right now. They are in separate habitats because they don't get along.
Oh.
So she's perched up here in front of you, and the other habitat is our male. They had a falling out.
Sometimes that happens, even with the most well-adjusted couples.
It does.
And we were talking before that we do not have plans to breed bald eagles.
Right.
And no facilities are breeding bald eagles.
No AZA facilities are breeding bald eagles. I think there might be 1 or 2 places in the United States that have permitting allowing them to do that. However, there isn't a great need to breed bald eagles here in the United States anymore because they are no longer endangered. Their wild population has rebounded to the point it doesn't need supplementing from eagles bred under human care. And unfortunately, we don't need to breed eagles to have them in zoos or aquariums or wildlife centers, because there's several birds that need homes fairly often because they are non-releasable birds that have entered into a rehabilitation.
Right, and that's a good point, and it brings me to my next point is this bird is non-releasable.
Correct.
She can't go back out into the wild.
Right.
They're either imprinted or injured to the point where they couldn't be able to fend for themselves. So they need a facility like this to make sure that they're cared for their entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're excited that you joined us today for our talk about World Migratory Bird Day. And we'd like to remind you that even though we're closed, we're still caring.